Hello and welcome to the One Man Renegade Productions YouTube channel. I'm your host, Theon Burgett, and today is Saturday, and it's Goonies Day, which we'll talk about in a minute. And it's also a big wrestling day, as we got a couple big events going on today. We got WWE and AAA, and at one point it said NXT on the logo, but then they removed NXT for some reason, even though there is NXT people involved. Worlds Collide, and then we also got WWE Money in the Bank coming up a little bit later on tonight. Both from LA, Los Angeles. I guess the Worlds Collide's from the Kia Forum, and then Money in the Bank's from the Intuit Dome, which I think are basically across the street from each other. Obviously, the Forum's the old building where the Lakers used to play. The Intuit Dome is now where the Clippers play. I believe they're in Inglewood, California, or Inglewood, which I think is a borough of LA. I don't know how it works. I have no idea. I've never been there, so I don't know. But it's like I don't know if it's technically part of LA or if it's like a suburb of LA or it's like a section of LA. I don't really know. You can Google it if you want. But anyways, in order to preview those events, I figured let's collide the worlds of Mystery Grail, Funko Pops, and some Panini Prizm from 2023, because it was just the one I happened to grab of WWE cards. Yeah. But if you missed any previous wrestling-related videos, head up there. It's a big old massive playlist button you can hit right there. If you are looking for some specific certain product or year or league or event or whatever, it might be easier to go search the channel page. So while you're over there checking out all the amazing videos I've done over the years, or while you're right here, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, also hit thumbs up, like this video, hit that share button, share this with everyone you know, head down the comments, tell me who you think might win all the matches today at both events. This is going to be one giant preview. I'm not doing separate videos. I decided, let's do it all together. And then also check out all the links and information in the description for all my other internet and social media things. All right, so I kind of completely forgot that I even had these mystery grills. I got them a while ago, and I was like, wait a minute, did I ever open these? Because I think I opened a couple, but I have more, and I'm like, yeah, I should probably open these. And then I was like, well, I should do a preview video for Worlds Collide, and then a preview video for Money in the Bank. And I was like, you know what? Let's just combine them together, collide them together, however you want to say it, and kind of talk about it all together. And kind of a little bit of state of the business address of wrestling in general, because I have some concerns, specifically considering that they're doing two events today. I don't love it, to be quite honest with you. Listen, I'm not against having more wrestling. That's not what I'm going to argue here. My issue is, can't we spread it out a little bit? A couple weeks ago, there was Double or Nothing, but WWE also had Saturday's Main Event and Battleground. There was also TNA had Border War and Under Siege. Whether you like the different companies or not, it's not even really the point. The point was, couldn't we have had Battleground and Saturday Night's Main Event separate? I mean, I know they're coming from the same building. So it's like, all right, they rented out the building for the weekend, so I kind of get it. But at the same time, it's like, at least in that case, they were on the Saturday and the Sunday. This time around, they're in different buildings, but it's the same day, and there's nothing else going on. So it's like, couldn't you have just put one on Saturday and one on Sunday, spread it out a little bit? I mean, for me, I'd rather them just do it separate weeks. Like, there was nothing last weekend. You couldn't have had one last weekend. Like, if you want to have an event every Saturday, I'm all for that. Like, I know AEW has Collision, but they've been showing that on Thursdays or doubling up with Dynamite, as they did this week, and 4-hour shows. So it's like, maybe Saturday's not even really their nights anymore. So it's like, and then, going forward too, July 12th is All In for AEW, but you know what? WWE, they're doing Great American Bash and Saturday Night's Main Event in the same night. Plus, then the next night they're doing Evolution. It's like you have 3 big events. You could have spread those over 3 different Saturdays instead of jamming them all into one weekend. On addition to that, Ring of Honor is having a pay-per-view on that Friday. Of course, that's in addition to all the regular week nonsense of SmackDown, and which is staying at 3 hours now. Which, again, I'm not complaining about that necessarily, but we also had against all odds TNA last. If you watch TNA, I know people probably don't watch TNA as much, but if you watch NXT, you kind of have to watch TNA. There's a crossover and everything, but I don't know. My point is, I'm not against more wrestling. Let's spread it out a little bit. Let's spread it out, because I don't think there's anything going on next weekend. Is there? Or the next weekend? And then we got Night of Champions is the last weekend in June, and then of course we got there's nothing over 4th of July weekend, and then you got a ton of stuff the next weekend, and I think TNA's Slammiversary is the next weekend after that. But anyways, all right. So Worlds Collide is coming on today in a couple hours. I don't know whenever I post this. 3 o'clock on YouTube, which is interesting too. It's not on Peacock. It's on YouTube. It's just WWE's YouTube channel, which I wonder how that works. It probably has something to do with it being AAA, and them not having a deal with Peacock for doing AAA stuff. I don't really know. So there's probably a reason. There's got to be a reason they're just throwing it up on YouTube and not doing it on Peacock. But of course, Money in the Bank will be on Peacock later on today. And then there's UFC 316 tonight. All right, so let's get into it. Let's open up one of these, and then we'll talk a little bit about the event. I don't think there's any chance. I think there's zero chance that whoever's in this box is on Worlds Collide. Maybe Money in the Bank, but definitely not Worlds Collide. Hopefully we get something good. Chances are pretty good. I already have this pop because I have pretty much a lot of the WWE pops. But if it's something like really cool, I think there's autograph versions you can get on these. If it's like an old school like Chase or Grail or something, like one of the original ones, that'd be really cool. But let's see what we got. It's going to be, I think I got it going the wrong way. It's going to be Dude Love. I definitely already have the Dude Love pop. And there's candy. I'm sure this is stale. I don't remember what and there's a scratch and win thing. I'm sure it's expired at this point since this is old. Some fruities that, yeah, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, of course, Mankind, Mick Foley, better known as his actual name. Definitely already have this pop, so I would say that's a bit, and I don't think it's anything too spectacular, so I would say that's an L, taking the L on that one. But as far as Worlds Collide goes tonight, we'll get back to that Goonies thing in a minute. I know I mentioned it's Goonies Day. As today is the 40th anniversary of the Goonies movie coming out. You might be saying to yourself, well, what relevance does that have to wrestling? Well, my friends, if you know, you know, and if you don't, I'll explain to you. So, Goonies came out 40 years ago, like I said, so June 7th, 1985. And back in those days, they used to have soundtracks, and a lot of times in the soundtracks, there would be like a theme song to a lot of the movies. And specifically for Goonies, there was a theme. The theme song was Goonies Are Good Enough by Cyndi Lauper. And if you know anything about your wrestling history, 1985 was a pretty big year for WWE, or WWF, as they were known as at the time, as they just had WrestleMania in March of 1985. And one of the prominent features of that was Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi Lauper was heavily involved with WrestleMania, and even in the previous year with wrestling in general. So, of course, with Goonies, she put together this massive music video, because music videos were the thing back then, huge, and a lot of times they connected them as a marketing strategy with the to promote the movie. So she did a massive 2-part music video. It involved Steven Spielberg, and a lot of the Goonies, the kids of the cast, but also Captain Lou Albano, as he'd been previously in her videos. Of course, the girls just want to have fun. That's where it all kind of started with her and the rock and wrestling connection, as it were. But also Roddy Piper was in the video. Freddie Blassie, Fabulous Moolah, Wendy Richter, Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov, and Andre the Giant. So yes, there is a wrestling connection with the Goonies. And yeah, it's 40 years ago today the Goonies came up. But anyways, Worlds Collide is coming up today. So like I said, on YouTube. So there's 5 matches scheduled. We got Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, Angel, and Berto taking on El Hijo de Wagner Jr. What? El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. I think I missed the word in there. I mean, he's the son of a doctor, but the doctor's the junior, so wouldn't he be the third? But maybe he's not a doctor. I'm confused. Pagano and Psycho Clown. I don't really know anything about these guys. These are AAA guys. So that'll be interesting. Then we got El Hijo de Vikingo, who I'm familiar with, defending his AAA Mega Championship that he won last week from Alberto Del Rio against Chad Gable, which they may have accidentally spoiled because they announced that two Mondays ago, and had it, the graphic said AAA Mega Championship. So they kind of spoiled that one, but everyone kind of figured Alberto Del Rio, Alberto El Portron, whatever his name is, wasn't exactly going to show up on WWE programming. It's things didn't end well last time, and he's not exactly doesn't have the cleanest rap as it is recently. And then, so, I don't know. I guess I'll go with Legado del Fantasma in the first match, but I'm going to go with Vikingo in the second match. I'm sure that's in the main event. I'm doing these out of order. I'm just reading what this says. Then we got a fatal 4-way for the NXT North American Championship. We got Ethan Page taking on Javon Evans, taking on Laredo Kid, taking on Ray Phoenix. Ethan Page just won it from Ricky Saints, last week. Now, did they just have him win it to lose it here? I kind of think they did. But I don't think the Laredo Kid or Ray Phoenix are going to win it. I think it's going to be Javon Evans, if anyone. But at the same time, Ethan Page might just keep it. No, I feel like they're going to want to do something special on this show. I'm going to go with Javon Evans to win it. So this gave a reason for Ethan Page to win it off of Ricky Saints. I don't know. We'll see. The same sort of thing with JC Jane beating Stephanie Vaquer, because she's just going to turn around and lose it to Mariah May, or whatever they end up calling her, probably. But anyway, speaking of Stephanie Vaquer, her and Lola Vice are taking on Chick Tormenta and Dallas. I have no idea who those people are, but I think they're going to lose, because I think Stephanie Vaquer is not going to take another L after losing to JC Jane last week, although she is in the Money in the Bank, so she might take an L on that one. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's do double duty. And then also we got the Latino World Order, Dragon Lee and Cruz del Toro. And it was supposed to be Joaquin Wilde, but unfortunately got injured. So Lince Dorado will be taking his place, and he'll be taking on Octagon Jr., Aerostar, and Mr. Iguana. I'm going to go with the AAA team there, just because, if you have Legado win the first one, I don't know, 50-50 booking, I guess. All right, anyways, so that is what we got going on for Worlds Collide. We'll do the other Mystery Grail at the end, and we'll blast open this Prizm Blaster Box from 2023. Of course, the only one actually on the card, on the cover here, is Alexa Bliss. She'll be in the Money in the Bank match. Ray's, actually, everyone else is injured currently. Well, sort of. Bianca is injured. Ray's injured. Drew is banged up and taking time off after the steel cage match. Whether he's actually injured or not is kind of up for debate, I suppose. But he's at least banged up anyways, I guess. So anyways, we got 6 packs, 4 cards per pack. What are we looking for here? Blaster exclusive green Pulsar Prisms, iconic silver Prisms, and we're going to get 3 Blaster exclusive ice Prisms. You can get autographs. and other inserts and stuff and numbered stuff. So we'll see what we can find. Hopefully some cool stuff, and then we'll talk about Money in the Bank. Only 4 matches for Money in the Bank. Yeah, it's an interesting pattern they've been doing. I mean, since Triple H took over, they've been doing a lot less matches on like the B pay-per-views. Although, I guess every pay-per-view other than SummerSlam or WrestleMania, to be honest, because even with like Survivor Series, since they have the War Games matches, they only have a few matches. For Rumble, they have the Royal Rumble matches, so only have a few matches. Money in the Bank, they have the Money in the Bank matches, so like those take up most of the time. So only 4 matches. I feel like there should be more matches though, because with only 4 matches, you only have a certain amount of people. I mean, I know there's multiple people in the Money in the Bank, but still, like, there's a lot of people not on the card, and I feel like that's, I don't know, not the greatest. Now, on the flip side, AEW, they have everyone on that card, and they have a million matches, and it takes forever. I feel like there's a balance somewhere in between that one of them needs to find. It's probably TNA that's doing that correctly. Although NXT, I feel like usually at least has 6 matches too. So I don't know, somewhere with NXT and TNA, I feel like they kind of have a better grip on what people are willing to sit through in terms of length and matches, number of matches, but also what, get a little more bang for your buck. Although it's PLEs, not pay-per-views, that's also a whole other strategy. Anyways, we got Nikki Cross. I'm babbling. Of course, the Wyatt Six returned a couple weeks ago for Bray Wyatt's birthday, so she's back doing her thing. We got Gigi Dolan on the ice. Of course, she's no longer with WWE. She got let go like a month ago or so at this point. Ring royalty Triple H. He, of course, won the King of the Ring back in 1997. And then we got The Undertaker, who, of course, still does his one dead man shows now and again. All right, next up, we got Carl Anderson. We got a backwards card. That could be something good. We do have green of Ricochet. Of course, he is in AEW now. Akira Tozawa, still part of whatever they're called, American Alpha, right? Yeah, right? No. American, wow, my brain's broken. There's American Made, that's Chad Gable and the Creeds and Ivy Nile. There's American Alpha, yeah, whatever. Carl Anderson, he's no longer with company, and then we got this backwards thing. It is an autograph. Nice, champion signatures. We talked about her a few minutes ago. Bianca, she did something to her hand. So she's going to be out a little bit. Fortunately, this card is a bit off center. If you can see, there's a bit off center. But that's a really nice card. Really nice autograph. Green champion signatures. I'll take it. Nice, nice, nice. No, so why am I blanking? So there's American Made. There's American. Why am I blanking on the name of the group? Because American Alpha was Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, right? Alpha Academy. That's what too many A's. Alpha Academy. Brooks Jensen, who just got kicked out of the culling on NXT this week. X-Pac on the ice. We got Rhea Ripley, who will be in the Money in the Bank match, which we'll talk about in a second. And then top tier. That's the top tier. And then Johnny Gargano, currently on SmackDown doing a lot of tag match stuff. And I guess that's probably my issue with, I was going to mention, with the Money in the Bank card. There's 4 matches. You got the 2 Money in the Bank matches, obviously, which, will take up most of the time. But then you got the Women's Intercontinental Championship. That's fine, but where's the Men's Intercontinental Championship? Where's the U.S. titles? Where's the tag titles? And then you got a tag match with Logan Paul and John Cena taking on Cody and Jey Uso. Well, Jey Uso, I know it's defending the title against Gunther on Monday, but why isn't that just on Money in the Bank? John Cena's a champion. Why is he not defending the title? It's I don't know. I feel like there could be more. Like, do we really need that tag match? Is that necessary? Just to get them on the card? Like, have them defend their titles. Have those matches on the pay-per-view. Get Alba Fire. She's now part of the what is it called? The my brain's just not working. The Secret Hervis with Chelsea Green. Zoe Stark, unfortunately, during the qualifying match, along with Kairi Sane and Rhea Ripley, destroyed her knee, so she'll be out for a while. Boa, who I don't think's with the company anymore. That's 3. The Silver, and then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, of course, Hall of Famer. All right. 2 more packs, and then we got that final Mystery Grail. We got Dakota Kai, no longer with the company. We got Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Of course, he turned on the family. Turned on Tony D. We'll see how that all plays out. Of course, Tony D'Angelo will be tagging with Luca Cristofino. Of course, he was a little bit leery of what was going on with him. Last we saw before Battleground, he was seen in the desert with Stacks, and then he showed up. Distraction caused Tony to lose. We got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat again. That is the green version. And Tatum Paxley. Oh, this is before she kind of went crazy. She's still looking for friends on NXT. And we got our final pack of this blaster box, which got an autograph, so cannot complain about this blaster box at all. All right. We got Ricochet again, the regular version, not the green, to go along with the green version we already had. We got Mankind, of course. We pulled Dude Love Funko Pop, which now means we need Cactus Jack to figure out to finish out the 3 faces of Foley. And we got Prismatic Entrances, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. And then Nathan Frazier, of course. Fraxium, now on SmackDown. So there we go. I mean, obviously, Bianca Belair autograph. That's pretty sweet. I have no idea what Bianca Belair autographs are going for these days, but I'm sure that's pretty decent. But yeah, all right. So before we open up the second Mystery Grail, I'll give my predictions. So, of course, we got the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match with Alexa Bliss. No, Alexa, I'm not talking to you.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Well, that's too bad. Do you have a pick for Money in the Bank? No? Okay. She's not going to help me. A Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Naomi, and Stephanie Vaquer, of course, doing double duty as she will be in that tag match on Worlds Collide. So I'm going to go from least likely to most likely. I might pick. I think Rhea Ripley, honestly, is the least likely. Just because she doesn't need it. She doesn't need Money in the Bank. She can just get a title match anytime she wants, really. So I think she needs it. Similarly with Alexa Bliss, although a little bit less since she hasn't been around as much, so I could see her potentially winning it, but she's already won it before. Don't think she really needs it. So there we go. Julia, I just don't, obviously she's just called up from NXT. I just don't think it would really fit her character right now. Stephanie Vaquer for the same reasons. And then the 2 kind of favorites in my mind are Naomi and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez, just because they're doing this whole thing with her kind of in the Judgment Day. And, she kind of, her and Raquel kind of cost Liv, and, she's not in the Money in the Bank. So if then Roxanne wins it, could cause some tension within the Judgment Day, but then Finn Balor could stoke the flames of that. Of course, Carlito no longer part of the Judgment Day because his contract's got getting, yeah. Shout outs to Carlito, unfortunately no longer. Or R-Truth, who is a former sort of member of the Judgment Day, is also let go. So two old vets no longer with WWE. Or their contracts aren't being renewed, I suppose. Along with Sarah Logan also. And potentially more people. As they're bringing a lot of new people, there's not as much room for the other people as contracts are coming up. They're just not straight up releasing some of these people. I mean, I know they did a big round of people getting released, but apparently a lot of those were just contracts not getting renewed too. I don't know. Whatever. It could be both. It probably is both, but anyways. What was it? Yeah, Roxanne Perez and then Naomi. Naomi, the other kind of favorite. I just with her new character being all sadistic and weird and attacking. Obviously, she attacked Jade Cargill and obviously did the weird thing with Bianca last week. Said she was in her house and looking through her photo albums and stuff. So she's getting really weird with it. So that could potentially be a creepy Money in the Bank winner there. But I'm going to go with Roxanne Perez. I just feel like the dynamic with her and Liv in the Judgment Day could be fun. So there we go. Then we got the Women's Intercontinental title match. Lyra Valkyria defending against Becky Lynch. If Becky Lynch loses, she won't be able to challenge Lyra for the title again. And if Becky wins, not only she win the title, but Lyra Valkyria will have to raise her hand. As similar to what she did when Lyra beat her for the NXT Championship a couple years ago. I'm going to go with Becky Lynch. I think it's, time to have her win and then probably have Bayley return. And since she attacked her and then set up a Becky Lynch match for later on, whether it's Night of Champions or SummerSlam or whatever they'll save it for. I don't know. Saturday's main event potentially in July, or Evolution too coming up in July also. So it could be any of those. But eventually I think they'll do that. And then we got Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso taking on John Cena and Logan Paul. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, I feel like, don't they have to win? I don't know. I feel like they're going to win. I don't know. That is tough, though, because how do you have John Cena lose? You don't have John Cena lose. You have Logan Paul lose. That's the easiest thing to do, right? Just have Cody Rhodes pin Logan Paul or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But I think Cody and Jay will win. Of course, setting up Jay to face Gunther on Raw on Monday. And then Cody Rhodes eventually facing Cena. Potentially rematch at SummerSlam. I don't really know if they're going to do that. But they got to do it at some point. And then finally, the men's Money in the Bank match. We got Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, Andrade, and El Grande Americano. Now, some people are saying Chad Gable is doing double duty because they're saying he's El Grande Americano. I don't know. I don't know what proof they have. I haven't seen any proof of that, but supposedly people are saying that. So I guess potentially there's double duty going on in this match too. I don't know. Questionable. But all right, so let's go from least likely to most likely. I think Andrade is probably the least likely just because I feel like he's in this to fill up a spot. I don't know. Then probably Penta. I don't see Penta with the Money in the Bank, but maybe, I don't know. But yeah, but probably second, less likely. Then probably LA Knight. I feel like this would have been his last year, or maybe 2 years ago. I feel like I don't see him winning it now. I don't know. I could be wrong. Then Solo Sikoa. I think there's just too much. It could happen though, but I don't know. That's why I'm putting him kind of in the middle. Then El Grande Americano just cuz. Why not? Have El Grande Americano in it? But I think the most likely and most possible in my pick is going to be Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins wins it and cashes it in on Monday against Jey Uso after Jey Uso barely escapes Gunther. Or maybe he even cashes in during the match and makes it a triple threat a la his first cash in back at WrestleMania 31 with Roman and Brock. But I think that's where we're headed. Seth Rollins getting the title back and with his group of merry men controlling Raw. So there we go. But let's open up this what is it called? That's Mega Mystery Grail? No, Mystery Grail. See what we got. Hopefully it's something that I already have. Hopefully it's something cool. Hopefully it is something awesome. Now it's going to be The Miz because I said it's awesome. Is Alexa Bliss. I do already have this one. Maybe I have to change my pick. Maybe this is a foreshadowing. Maybe Alexa Bliss is the one that's going to win the Money in the Bank. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. Wow, I can't even speak anymore. It's a long video. Too long. I get into, when I do these preview videos, I get rambling. I should probably bring back the podcast for these ones. I haven't done my podcast in a really long time, but this was basically what my podcast was. But anyways, there we go. We got Alexa Bliss and the Dude Love around. There's more candy that I'm not going to eat, and the scratch thing that's probably expired, or whatever. I don't even know what it was for. But there we go. We got Dude Love. We got Alexa Bliss. We got Bianca Belair autograph, some other cool cards in there. And we got Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide coming your way soon. So thank you everyone for watching. I don't know when I'll be doing another one of these. There's obviously plenty of more wrestling shows coming up. Like I said, I just don't know if I'm going to be available to record anything ahead of time or not. But if I am and do, come back for those. But if I'm not and can't, come back for every day, because that video is posted every day, sometimes multiple a day. Just hit that subscribe. Actually, earlier today, there was a Hangar Over Saturday video. If you missed that, go check it out. But just hit that subscribe button, turn the notification, get a notification every time video is up and ready. Watch, come over, watch it, like it, share, comment, and all that fun stuff. Keyword, there's fun. Just having fun here on the channel. Opening up some cards, getting a nice autograph, getting some Funko Pops that I already had. But, there was always, obviously, a chance of getting some cool. And previewing Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank and all the wrestling stuff. And Goonies. 40th anniversary. Go watch Goonies today if you haven't watched it. Go at least watch the music video that I was talking about. Cyndi Lauper. Goonies are good enough with all the wrestlers and all the shenanigans and craziness. It's two-parter. It's nuts. 2 parts. Who did a 2-part video back in the day? It's crazy. Go check it out. So thank you everyone for watching. Stay safe. Have fun. Talk to you next time. Bye.